Hello, everyone. I'm Jamie Price. In this video, I'm going to cover the 4 stages of ascension, the 4 pillars of ascension, because when you understand the flow of these stages, you're better able to navigate your life. And we're going to look at the positives and negatives of each stage. We're going to talk about their connection to our cosmic heritage. And finally, we're going to talk about why there are 4 pillars. And this is my favorite part. It really surprised me. Ascension is a natural process of evolution. We are evolving into more of a conscious connection with the subtle realm. And this is just more active interaction with the invisible laws that build this physical realm. And in order to really change that interaction, you have to change within. You have to change your resonance so that you're able to consciously navigate that powerful subtle realm. And I was given these 4 stages within the context of the Cosmic Consciousness Ascension deck that I channeled, but the principles apply universally to our experience. And we could name these stages different things that mean the same thing. We could break them down into substages, but it's helpful to understand them as simply as possible at first and then expand on that knowledge. And of course, we're going to talk about them linearly, but they don't just flow in one direction of one after the other. They go back and forth. They move at different paces. Sometimes they're shorter or other times longer. Sometimes something might resurface for a new layer of healing and even a new choice. The first stage is awareness. And this is where your conscious connection with new information begins. You're moving from unconscious to conscious. And it first comes in as a mental focus. Now, in the cards, this suit is Lyran, and the Lyran race is our initial progenitor in this polarity experience that we're having. And Ariane, the Lyran Council of Time that I channel, always begins every channeling talking about awareness. It's a subtle energy, and your subtle bridge, which is your thoughts and emotions, is how you communicate directly with the subtle realm, that engine of connection that builds this physical experience. And the point of your consciousness is to assess, to shape, to reform information. And Ariane always says, you never just see something or hear something, you interact with it. It becomes part of you. And then either you shape and reform that information or it shapes and reforms you. And often both of those are occurring. And this begins in your awareness. Might be an aha moment, could be a recognition or a focus. Now, the positive of awareness is that you actually begin changing here. So when you become aware of something, it starts magnetizing, focusing, and building, coagulating new form. And you usually can't experience it yet, but change has begun. And the negative of awareness is that many will mentalize their healing and assume that that's enough, spiritual bypassing. And this creates confusion, frustration, because there isn't that willingness to keep moving through the stages of change, moving through your evolution, which is what you need to be able to actualize a different experience. The second phase of ascension is initiation. And this suit in the Cosmic Consciousness Ascension deck is represented by the Sirians. And initiation is a catalyst that marks and motivates inner change. And Sirian energy is a great support with this because they have such a profound balance with their mental and emotional flow that they're able to stay balanced through change. And it's initiation of that inner change that creates the outer experience. So it's your choice that's the inner catalyst of change. And the positive of initiation is you're building momentum. Awareness has created an awakening, an opening. And this is usually an exciting stage because you've got that creative interchange that is more exciting. And that begins a resonance with new potentials. Now, the negative of initiation is if there's too much fear, impatience, or expectations, it can create control and resistance, and that inhibits your movement forward. When the ego becomes imbalanced or too involved, that's when unconscious fear and sabotage start to lead your experience. The third pillar of ascension is releasing. The Orions are a deep support for this because they had a dramatic shift in consciousness from separation to empowered love. And it's really important for us to be willing to interact with that full flow of energy rather than just polarizing to the positive. This is what creates that genuine healing into empowerment. And to do this, you have to release the ego's fear of change. Change is always for the better, even if the moment isn't easy. Improvement is the natural flow of life, and releasing is an important step of that. For example, you can't just inspire, you can't just breathe in. You have to expire. You have to breathe out in order to even be able to take a new breath and sustain your life. So you have to exhale, release to cleanse your system so that the new can build. Now, the positive of release, it creates freedom, clarity, relief. It's one half of the creation equation. So in order to create something new, you release the old traumas, like when you move through the dark night of the soul, when you forgive something, you become freer within. And that helps you make better choices because you have more clarity. Now, the negative of releasing is perceiving that only the external action of releasing is valuable. And that means not doing the inner work that's causing the issue. So, for example, you're in a bad relationship or a bad job and you leave it, but you don't do that inner work. And then you just recreate that same situation with just a slightly different experience. And that ends up creating confusion and frustration because you're not using that full flow of creation. Releasing is an important part of that. The fourth stage is expanding. Expansion without a strong foundation is an illusion that can easily crumble. So the important work that comes before the manifestation is what creates the foundation that can sustain and support your growth. The Pleiadians represent this energy, and they had one of the easiest paths of ascension because they learned to embrace what seemed negative, which they found transformed it from negative or positive into the middle road, expanding out. And the positive of your expansion is manifestation. This is where you touch the future you only dreamed before. And when you're using the natural laws of growth, which might have some times of contraction or direction shift, you're moving through life with more ease, more joy, more creativity. Now, the negative of expansion is when you're focused on the results, the expectations or the facade of change, you're not aware that the foundation is weak and can't sustain. And this is when the law of attraction becomes confusing rather than supportive. And it's why all four stages are important. Because when you honor all the stages of healthy growth, You're adaptable, but you're stable. You're open, you're aware, but you're focused. And remember, they don't all just occur one after the other. Sometimes you're spiraling through them and it's a unique path. You might begin with an awareness and initiate new choice, but then maybe you experience expansion. And after that, release becomes noticeable. It's just a beautiful chaos of moving through change. And all of this change is creating a new you. I want to share why I was guided to call them the 4 pillars of ascension. Obviously, when I was guided to create the 4 suits in the cards, that's not that unusual. Even regular playing cards have 4 suits. But when I heard 4 pillars, I was shown it as well. What does it look like? 1111. 4 pillars. 11 is the first master number. It represents mastery. And we are in an exciting time of our evolution where we're mastering the physical realm by integrating more conscious interaction with the subtle realm. 11 plus 11 is 22, the next master number. And this one represents the systems. It's the master builder, the master teacher. You're building your crystalline energetic structure, your sacred geometric system that interacts with both the subtle and the physical. And then this teaches through that natural flow of subtle communication, which is constant. And finally, each individual pillar, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, is 4, the square. That is the stable foundation where your change is nurtured, it's sustained and supported. So as you're moving through these pillars of ascension, you want to ask yourself, am I supporting the future that I want to experience? That future that I want to offer the human experience? Life is working for you, not against you. And when you move with the natural laws of evolution, you're allowing life to flow through you in really powerful ways. It takes courage to move through the 4 pillars of ascension. But that is why you're here, Lightworker. To shine your powerful light of love here on earth. That's what changes the human experience.